Delighted to welcome the former Green Party leader, Baroness Natalie Bennett, to the show right now. A very good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon, Julia. Lovely to be back with you.
Thank you very much for joining us. I wanted to ask you, first of all, about the new leader of your party and the new deputy leader, but I must ask you also about the deputy leader of the Labour Party, Rayner, saying she basically dodged 40 grand in stamp duty on the purchase of her flat down in Hove near Brighton. That she considered resigning. She's referred herself to the Standards Commissioner. Should she resign?
Well, I think, as you were saying to the caller earlier, we still need more information here. This is a story that's broken over a few hours. And I think we do have to take into consideration the fact that this was partly setting up a trust to provide in future for a disabled child. But on the other side,
not this home. This home had nothing to do with that trust.
That was the issue of what was the status of this home in terms of, you were asking the question of levels of stamp duty are different between first and second homes. But I think, we have to also take that in the context of a government that has been absolutely slashing support, causing great fear to disabled people around the country. I was yesterday with the Citizens Network, working with a lot of people with learning disabilities, people with other disabilities, talking about how difficult their lives are. And so if the government is going to ask for grace for Rayner in this context, we've got to think about what kind of grace we're offering to the rest of the country, to some of our most vulnerable citizens.
OK, let's talk about your new leader and your new deputy leader. First, the new leader, Zack Polanski, he won about 80% of the vote from members. He was elected on basically wanting sort of eco-populism, he says, but also willingness to work with people like Jeremy Corbyn and Zara Sultana, who have basically formed their own party, a sort of pro-Gaza, very, very left-wing party. Is that what the Green Party is now?
Well, the Green Party has always said that economic, environmental, social and racial justice are indivisible. Someone else was asking me about this morning, and I was reflecting back to, I'm often being quoted back when I was leader and earlier as talking about, for example, Amazon, the website, the giant company which doesn't pay its share of taxes, and all of us pay the costs that Amazon inflicts on our society, calling them the great parasite. We've always understood that we need a society where resources are shared out fairly. There's enough resources on this planet for everyone to have a decent life if we share them out fairly. That's been fundamental to Green Party understanding, Green Party philosophy for 40 years and more.
Well, in that case, I suppose people like Rayner wouldn't be able to afford an £800,000 flat because we'd be sharing it all out fairly. She probably wouldn't be entitled to that, second home or otherwise.
Well, I think I don't know about Rayner's personal income, but the Green Party, we've very much been focused on the need for a wealth tax to ensure that those with the broadest shoulders who've been taking large amount of resources out of our society, that they are able to take their fair share.
What do you mean by taking a large amount of resources out of our society? What does that mean?
Well, it means things like taking large profits from companies. We think of the bosses of water companies, for example, taking very large bonuses while their companies are polluting our rivers and our seas.
Wait a minute, but what about wealthy? What about people who make money selling things that people want to buy and they're not polluting our rivers? They're selling us, I don't know, a new gadget that we like or food that we like, and they're earning a lot of money. Should there be a wealth tax on them? Because I mean, you want a punishment tax on people who do things you don't like, but should people who sell us goods that we like, even goods that perhaps, maybe they make prosthetic legs and they've made a massive profit on that, but they've made a load of money, but they've done good for society. Should we be putting a wealth tax on those people?
I doubt that people are making large profits out of prosthetic legs. But to the broader question, I come back to the Amazon. They essentially don't pay their fair share of taxes. They are penalising little bookshops, little shoe shops.
Well, they're not penalising those shops, are they? I mean, people are choosing to buy books and things from Amazon because they have the might of the market. But why would you punish them for that?
Well, if they are not paying their taxes, their corporation taxes, which they essentially pay no corporation taxes.
Well, they do pay the tax. They do pay the taxes they're legally due. They're just able to avoid perfectly legally. I'm sure you'll agree. And under the current law, lots of taxes which other companies that are based here in Britain and have premises have to pay. But so when you say wealth tax, you are talking about multinational, very, very, very big corporations or very, very, very rich people, not, say, people on six-figure salaries like, I don't know, the Prime Minister and the Deputy Leader of the Labour Party.
To be specific about wealth tax, we're talking about people who have more than 10 million in assets. Now, that's not very many people listening to this show, I can say with absolute certainty, because there's not that many people. But you take Amazon, for example. If you go down on bin nights, you walk down the street, you will see huge amounts of Amazon packaging filling up the bins. We are all paying to dispose of that packaging. Amazon creates a cost, and the way society is organised, and you're absolutely right, what we're talking about is changing the way society is organised, so that people pay their fair share.
Well, there would also there'd be a cost if someone drove to the shop to go buy it themselves, but you don't like people getting on cars either. Let's talk about your new leader rather than focusing on Amazon. You seem to be obsessed with Amazon. Zack Polanski. I mean, you know, he's obviously very popular within the party. I wonder how popular he is with a lot of women voters, though. He used to work as a psychotherapist where he was telling women that they could think their breasts larger. Have you ever thought about taking that advice?
Well, I think what you're talking about is both a long time ago and also it was a tabloid sting.
No. It was the Sun newspaper sent along a patient to his service he was offering in Harley Street Clinic, where he, as a grown man, it wasn't like something he did when he was 14. He was a grown man in a respectable job where he told her that she could, it's all on tape, it wasn't a sting. You can only sting someone if they're doing it anyway. And he was telling her and other patients that they could think their breasts larger. Is this really a man who is fit for public office?
Well, I think that people can hear for themselves. It's great to see how much Zack is all over the media this morning. The Guardian covering on the front page. People can listen and hear for themselves, see what Zack is presenting as Green Party policies.
No, but that's not what I asked you, Natalie. Do you think a man who tells women, as a psychotherapist, that they can think their breasts bigger, that's a man who should be in public office?
I know what the public is paying attention to now. What the public is paying attention to is the way in which Zack is presenting Green Party policies, the positive change that people are so desperate.
I just want to clarify, so you're not going to answer that question? Just so I know, I can move on.
I'm going to answer the question that people can listen to Zack for themselves today.
Well, yeah, we can listen to him on that tape with the Sun, where he said that. But anyway, let me ask you about what we can also listen to on tape. Your new deputy leader, co-deputy leader, Mosin Ali. He, on the day of the October 7th attacks by Hamas in Israel, which left 1,200 people dead, mostly civilians, led women to being gang raped, children killed, people burnt, and 250 hostages taken. He said that this was the fight. Israel would claim the use of the fight back by Hamas would be a pretext to attack Gaza. He said the pretext of the fight back by Hamas fighters, he said, or supposedly Hamas fighters this morning. He said people should support the right of indigenous people to have freedom and to fight back against occupiers. He was basically justifying what happened on October the 7th, wasn't he? Should he be in elected office?
Well, I don't think that's a fair depiction
what do you think he meant?
Of Motin's presentation. But what I'm really excited about...
What do you think he meant then?
Two excellent deputy leaders. Mosin, who is... I went up to Hare Hills and was with Mosin as they had a public meeting after they'd been...
What do you think he meant?
...difficulty on the streets there. And of course, I think we shouldn't overlook the fact that Rachel Millward, who is the other co-deputy leader, both of them are really leading council figures.
What do you think he meant? Baroness Natalie Bennett, what do you think he meant if he wasn't basically justifying the Hamas attack on Israel on October the 7th? What do you think he meant? If you think I didn't actually I didn't accurately describe what he meant, what do you think he meant?
Well, I think that people can look at that for themselves.
No, I asked you. You must have seen it. It's been in the papers. What do you think he meant? If not, that he was justifying a terror attack on civilians in Israel that left children killed, people taken hostage, men and women attacked, women gang raped and mutilated. What do you think he meant when he was calling it a fight back?
That's not what he was saying, and I
So
think
what
it's
was
worth,
he saying?
worth stressing that where we are now.
So what was he saying?
Let's look at the situation where we are now, and I was in the House yesterday listening to debate on that, and I think we shouldn't distract from the fact that there are still Israeli hostages who are being held under the most awful conditions. There's the bodies of Israeli hostages.
That's the Hamas fight back, isn't it? That's what he was defending.
All of these are issues that we need to focus on, as well as, of course, the dreadful circumstances, the starvation, what has been labelled genocide in Gaza now.
Okay, well, it's labelled by some, but clearly not a genocide, if you know what the word genocide means. Again, I'm going to ask you for the final time. What do you think Mothin Ali, the deputy leader of the Green Party, meant when he talked about how this was a fight back by Hamas?
Well, Mothin himself has set out very clearly, explained all of this, and people are welcome to look that up.
So you don't have a view on it?
I shared my view about my concern, as I often express in the House, about the situation of the Israeli hostages.
Do you or do you not have a view on the current co-deputy leader of your party's views on the October the 7th massacre, the worst massacre of Jews since the Second World War? Do you have a view on it? And if so, what is your view?
I have a view that Mosin is an absolutely brilliant community leader in Leeds, and was very brave and very much a leader in terms of tackling issues in that community, something I've seen for myself.
So you don't have a view on it then?
The work he's
Did you think what he said was fine? Do you think that what he said was okay?
And I think what we also, I do want to stress that we have two deputy leaders, and Rachel Millward, who is the the co-leader of Wealdon Council in Sussex.
Natalie.
I hope you might think about interviewing her as well.
Oh, they're all welcome to come on the show. As you are, I'm just fascinated. You come on the show and decide not to answer the questions. Baroness Natalie Bennett, thank you for joining us, former Green Party leader. Make of that what you will, folks. Don't say I didn't keep trying.